Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. If you're looking at me and I'm looking at you, we made it to a brand new year. I want to say thank you for those who have been riding this journey with me for the release of the podcast of Let's Think About It with Dr. E. This has been an amazing journey. I want to thank you for all my subscribers and those that have been riding this train with me for the last couple of months. It's been an amazing journey. But if you have not, I need for you to go right now and subscribe to my YouTube channel because you don't want to miss the latest content that's going to drop every Wednesday. I tell you, it's been amazing, so you want to be a part of this journey. But before you do that, I need for you to reflect with me. Let's think about what 2024 was and what it's going to go down in history as. So as we look and think about and reflect on 2024, let's take a moment to reflect. It's had its highs and it has lows. There were political shifts. There were changes in leadership. The communities around us look different. For many of us, change was hard to embrace, especially as we approach the end of the year. But I often looked at as change as a thing that we all must go through. How so, Dr. Erica? Every year you have a birthday. Every year you get older. So every year you're changing. Your tastes change. Smells change, environments change. So we cannot avoid change. It's going to happen in our lives, whether we want to or not. But I want us to think about some of the personal battles that you had to fight in 2024. Some of the things that you had to overcome. I told someone that we have wins and we have losses. We have victories. We have defeats. We all have those in our lives. But we all also should have a time of reflection. So if we think about a year to remember, it was etched in our hearts and minds as we especially approach the election year of our new president, the former president, but now the new president-elect Trump. Many of us know a couple weeks from now, he will be inaugurated as the 47th president. And for many of us, it can be a bittersweet moment because, number one, it is on the day that we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And many of us are looking at that sacred day as a moment that Coretta Scott King fought for her husband's day to be celebrated. And so as we think about and reflect upon what do we want this year to look about, I want to title this episode, From Chaos to Comeback, Restoring Your Peace in 2025. I want to repeat that again. From Chaos to Comeback, Restoring Your Peace in 2025. But the real question here for many of us is how do we take all that 2024 threw at us, every victory, every lesson, and every heartache, and carry it into a new season. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about restoration and renewal, which is going to be our theme for 2025. We're going to carry it throughout the 2025 year. We're going to be talking about that space of restoration and renewal, mind, body, and soul. So 2024, in retrospect, was a year of pivotal election, shifting leadership and moments of hope that seemed to hang by the thread. Many of us felt the weight of division, racial tension, women's rights being dismantled, the stress of the economic uncertainty, and the ongoing fight for justice in marginalized communities. But even in chaos, we found hope. We did. We really did. I know it may not felt like it, but we found a glimmer of hope even in the midst of chaos. But let's think about the community and the movement of the new voices that we saw emerge out of what we saw chaos in a strange election that many of us never thought we would see. But I want us to really think about there's hope even in chaos and even in the changing of guards. We found victories even if they were small. These moments reminded us that change, though it was slow, is always possible, and we cannot give up even in the midst of change. I want to leave you with this scripture, or let us lean into this scripture. It says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This has been a scripture or a text that's really been, I think, challenged a lot. But I want us to really look at this verse from this standpoint, not to anchor ourselves in transformation, but look at it at renewing even in the world when we feel overwhelmed. So it teaches us to anchor ourselves, not just in transformation, but renewing of our minds so that the overwhelmingness of the world would not feel like it's too much for us. So 2025 needs to be a year for many of us of restoration and renewal. You're saying, Dr. Erica, how can I find restoration and renewal at the beginning of the year when it seems like the beginning of the year is already coming in heavy? Well, first of all, I want us to think about that first we need to prioritize our peace in this year. Don't let what it seems to be heavy steal your peace, take your joy, because even in the midst of chaos, I want you to know 2025 is a year of hope. I know you're saying, how can I find hope when I cast my vote for who I thought would be our next president? When I made some changes in my life where I thought that I could be on top, and it seems like I'm coming in on the bottom in the beginning of a new year. I'm looking at my year and saying, my year is not starting off the way I wanted it to start. But can I give you some hope? It may start out this way, but it doesn't have to end up this way. I need for you to first sit back and reflect. I need for you to get out a piece of paper, and I need for you to write the word reflection on that. Write the word really big on a piece of paper and say reflection. And now I want you to go to the mirror and ask yourself, what do I see? And just look at yourself right now and say, what do I see? Do I see the same person I left in 24, or do I see a new person in 25? If the answer to your question is saying, I see a new person, then hey, we got something to start with. That means you don't see the same person that you left, but there's a glimmer of hope. There's something new on the horizon. Protecting our peace isn't just about self-care. It is a spiritual practice. It means choosing not to let external circumstances dictate your inner peace or your inner state of mind. What does peace look like in this new season? It is setting boundaries, choosing rest, and letting go of the need to control every outcome. And that's going to be a hard one for me personally because I want to try to find out what could be the best possible outcome for this situation. But I'm choosing this year to not try to control the outcome, but let the outcome become what it is, and then choosing to say, this is what I've been dealt. Now let me make the best of this and not dwell on, Lord, this outcome is not what I wanted to be, and now I got to do something different. You know how we do. We pitch these own personal tantrums, and we go into our own pity party. But no, I want you to look at the outcome from a different lens this time. Take the hand that you've been dealt and say, I'm going to choose my peace from this place, but I'm going to make a better decision next time. Because there will be a next time, and a next time after that, and a next time after that. See, I want you this year to look at life differently. Do not choose that every defeat that I don't have a way out. Just because this time it did not work out in your favor doesn't mean next time it won't. Every outcome can be different, but you got to choose to think differently. You have to choose to make a different decision every time. And not let life beat you down because they said you could not do it this way. Okay, I can't do it this way. Now I'm going to choose another door to go through. I'm going to choose another opportunity. So do you see where I'm going? I'm choosing not to take the negative road. I'm choosing to take the high road, or the lesser of two evils. I'm not going to choose to stay in the same place that I'm in, but I'm choosing to move from where I am now to a different place. Because whenever I make the decision to move, I'm telling myself I'm choosing not to stay where I am. I'm choosing to move into a different space, because every opportunity is different and change looks different for everybody. Let me say that again. So you cannot look at my life and say, but Dr. Erica, it looks like change is good for you. But change for me is not going to be good. Change for everybody is good. I know you're saying, but yes, it is. Change is good. It's good for you and it's good for me. But I need for you to first look at life and say, what do I want to change? But more importantly, what do I need to change? Some of you need to change your friends. Some of you may even need to change churches. Some of you may need this to the year right now to change and get you a brand new job, a brand new occupation. What does change need to look like for you? But you've got to find out what that change needs to look like. And there again, I want you to write it down. What do you need to change in your life? And then I want you to get a plan for that. Because it's not going to all happen at one time. It's not going to all happen overnight. But I need for you to get a plan. Write it down and say, I choose to change. But I'm not going to allow change to choose me, but I'm going to choose change. I said it just like that. I'm not going to allow change to choose me. I'm going to choose the change that I want. So 2025 invites us to release all the baggage that we had in 24. So if you had some baggage that you couldn't find, or some luggage that you chose not to take on the next trip, go buy some new one. Luggage you can buy every day. They got it at Ross, TJ Maxx, Belks, wherever you want. They got luggage every day. So if you say, I want a brand new set of green luggage, then go buy you some. But the baggage, leave that. Leave that in 2024. So new luggage we can buy every day, but baggage, leave it where it was. Restoration isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about rebuilding a stronger foundation. It's about renewing our commitment to live intentionally, no matter what's happening around you. So you have to be intentional to live with peace. You have to be intentional to have joy. You have to be intentional to make change. It's not going to happen without you being intentionally making a conscious decision that I'm not going to live the way I used to live, but I'm going to do something different this year. And I know everybody likes to set New Year's resolutions, but I don't want you to do a resolution. I want you to do a New Year reflection. I want you to reflect on what you didn't finish in 24, and I want you to finish it in 25. Because every year we set goals that we're going to do a diet, we're going to exercise. We're going to do all this new stuff in 24 and 25 and 23 and 21 and 22. But I want you to reflect on everything that you did not finish. And in 25, I want you to finish what you started. Okay, let's make that a part of the plan. So we're going to talk about restoration and renewal. Restore the things that you were supposed to finish, that you left unfinished business, unfinished relationships, unfinished ideas, hobbies, whatever it was. Finish those things in 25. Because part of the process, what many of us walk around sometimes depressed or in this mode of heaviness, is because we just didn't finish some things. We left a lot of things unfinished. Unfinished business can cause a lot of stress because you're thinking about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I don't want 25 to be a year of regrets of what you should have done. So I don't want you to do New Year's resolution. I want you to do a New Year reflection. And what you didn't finish, I want you to finish what you did not. I want you to finish what you started. But remember, start at a pace that you're going to finish it. Okay? So I don't want you to start running a marathon when you need to start out walking. Okay? Because if you have not paced yourself in running, you can start out here and running too fast and find yourself on the sideline grasping for air, needing emergency medical care because you started out too fast. I want you to pace yourself in what you need to finish, because finishing what you started is so important to your renewal and restoration. So with that, we've got a new president, and there's a new wave of uncertainty that's going to come with that. And whether you're excited, disappointed, or somewhere in between, it's crucial to remember that no political leader, listen to this, can dictate your peace or your purpose. I do not care who is in the White House. I don't care who his cabinet is. It doesn't matter. They cannot dictate your peace or your purpose, only if you choose to. Now, if you decide to give them your peace, so be it. If you decide to give them your purpose, that's your choice. But I am not going to allow what the changes they're going to make. It's not going to take my peace or my purpose. I have a purpose in mind for 25, and I'm going to do that. Whoever's in the White House and whoever's running whatever department is not going to dictate the plan that God has for my life. For those of us that are believers, God does have a plan for our life. And I want you to figure what that plan is. Ask God, what is it that you want me to do this year? And remember, it's not predicated on who's president, because the God of our salvation has a plan for your life. And if you will tap into what God wants for your life, I promise you, this will be one of the most successful years of your life. And it's not predicated on a man or a woman, but it's predicated on what God has for your life. In uncertain times, our focus must shift from what's happening around us to what's happening within us. Let me say it again. It is not predicated on what's happening around us, but it's predicated on what's happening within us. So how are you going to nurture your spiritual and emotional and mental well-being in 25? Here are 4 practical steps. Set intentional rhythms. Create daily and weekly habits that center you. For example, you could practice morning prayer, and we should all be doing that. Journaling, and then find you a Sabbath day of rest. Rest is so intentional and important because we all live busy lives. Find you a day to unplug. I said this in 24, but I think it's so important for 25. Jesus was so intentional that in 6 days, he created everything. He didn't have to rest, but he modeled what rest looked like for us on the 7th day so that we could rest. So I need for rest to be a part of your calendar and schedule. And I know I'm talking to the choir. I'm preaching to the choir. I'm preaching to myself. Find the day of rest, because you can work 7 days and still not get it all done. So why not find you a day of rest? So be intentional in those 6 days of what you want to accomplish. On that 7th day, you find your day of rest. Number 2, listen to this. This is so important. Stay engaged, but not consumed. This point is so important. It's in bold letters on my iPad. Stay engaged, but not consumed. I started this practice at the end of 24. Stay informed about the world, but don't let the news steal your joy. I deplugged after the election. I said, I cannot watch the news because I didn't want to steal my joy or my peace. I needed to end the year on a high note. So listen, you got to stay engaged, but don't you get so consumed by what's going on in this political climate that you lose your joy and peace and find yourself so stressed out on what decision they're going to make tomorrow, and Lord, am I going to be able to eat the next day, and Lord, what's my job going to do? That will stress you out to the max. Don't worry about all of that. Jesus said, don't worry about what you're going to eat or what you're going to drink, because tomorrow has enough worry in itself. All I need for you to do is focus on what you're going to do today, because tomorrow's going to take care of itself. I promise you it will. Don't worry about it. Let God take care of all of what's going to happen the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. But don't you get so engaged and so consumed that everything around you gets so discombobulated. But stay engaged, but not consumed. Number 3, build a community. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who challenge you, who grow you. Restoration is a communal effect. I want you to find somebody, get some people in your life that will challenge you spiritually, that will challenge you mentally, that will challenge you financially, that will challenge you socially, that will challenge you economically. These areas in your life, find people who are already there that can help mentor you there. Now listen to this. You may not meet them in person, but follow them on social media. There are a lot of people that I follow that challenge me in areas that they say some points that blow your mind. You think like, wow, that's a very wonderful, awesome point. Like, where'd they get that from? Like, what was they thinking at that moment when they come up with the idea? Find people that you can connect with, that you can follow on social media that's positive, that's uplifting, that they are where you want to go. Now, model them or see the things that's positive. We all can chime in on things that are negative, but I want you to find people in your life that are striving to get you to the next level. Next level thinking is so important, because if you're thinking in the same space you left, you're not going to reach that goal. So I need for you to elevate your thinking, move to the next level on where you want to go. There should be some benchmarks or some goals that you want to get financially, socially, spiritually, that where you were last year, that you should want to exceed that expectation in 25. Number 4, practice gratitude. Even in uncertainty, there's always something to be thankful for. Gratitude shifts your perspective and reminds you of God's faithfulness. God is faithful. I don't care what happens in your life, He is faithful, and we are to give thanks, because no matter what it looks like, God never left you. He never forsakes you, and He's always going to be there for you, even when it looks like this is one of the lowest moments of your life. So whenever the times get low in 25, remember that God never went back on His word. Whatever He promised you He was going to do, God's going to hold true to His promise. But I want you to do the same thing. But give thanks and be grateful. So as we look ahead, I want to leave you with this in 25. 25 is a blank canvas. You get an opportunity to paint the picture. Have you ever went to a sip and paint and they give you a blank canvas? And sometimes they tell you to paint whatever you want. And then sometimes they give you a template and you paint the template. Yes, we will face challenges, but we have an opportunity to write a new story, paint a new picture, and even develop a new outcome. You do not have to be stuck where you were. Paint a new picture, write a new story, write a new outcome, because your life doesn't have to look the way you came out of it. It can look different, but you have a choice. Let's commit to showing up, not as people overwhelmed by the world's demands, but as a people rooted in peace, driven by purpose, and open to the work of restoration. We have a lot of work to do to restore a lot of things that we're going to face in 25. There are going to be a lot of things that are going to be changed this year. There are going to be a lot of things that's going to look a whole lot different. Laws are going to change. Some rules are going to change. And there's going to be some challenging times that we're going to face this year. I don't want you to think that this year that we're not going to face some obstacles, because we are. Not just because Trump's in office. Every year is going to bring its own set of problems, challenges. But I need for you to know that whatever problem that you're going to face this year, God is going to be there with you every step of the way. Whatever challenge you're going to face, whatever obstacle, I want you to know that you're not in that thing by yourself. God's going to surround you around people who's going to be able to hold your hand through that test, through that challenge, through that problem, through that situation. But in everything, give thanks. For this is the will of God, no matter what it looks like. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. This journey of reflection and restoration and preparation is going to take some work. But let's walk this thing out together in 25. I'm ready for restoration, and I'm ready for renewal, not only for me, but for you and your family. But until next time, stay encouraged and keep thinking about it, because this is the year of restoration and renewal. I'm ready to walk this journey out. Are you? Stay tuned. Let's think about it with Dr. E.